Bob Huber, Vintage Lambo. What you're looking at is a device that I made so that I could install the yoke into the input shaft of the differential in the car, on the car, however you wanted to say it. This is an Espada S3. Now, this isn't a normal thing, but this is what I had to do. Now, let me wind it back a bit. The yoke was rattling at the dust shield. Now, the dust shield is pressed onto the yoke, and in this case, it had been welded in two places, and the welds were broken. So I needed to repair the dust shield, and on top of that, the seal was leaking. So I go to my normal, you pull it, it's not a major pull, and the yoke just sits into the bearing a bit, and once you pass the bearing, then the spline shaft and the spline in the yoke, it just comes out. I mean, they're matched at the factory, so it comes out nice. Now, there's only one way to put it on though. There's what we call the sweet spot, and it's normally marked on the two parts. So I did find a mark on the yoke. I did not find a clear mark on the shaft. So normally you just hunt around and you find that engagement that works, and then you're home free. You slide it on, and then you just have to do a slight press to put it the rest of the way. Well, in this case, it was extremely tough, not just from the bearing, but coming out from the spline. All right, so I get it out, and I'm going, my gosh, this is crazy. And I try to put it on, and there's no sweet spot. There's nothing. I couldn't put it back on. All right, so I know I'm going to be challenged here. So I get a very fine, brand new, fine file from McMaster Car, and I'm then going to massage the yoke. But first, in a previous video, I repaired the dust shield. It's now on properly. That's all done, all that good stuff. Had to make some tooling for that. So now I'm back to, now I've got to put this on. So what I had to do was really work everything I could on the spline to make sure there's no burrs or anything like that it's going to cause a problem. Now, I got it to slightly go on. I was very encouraged by now I found what I feel would be the best sweet spot I could find. That's great. Now, how do I get it on the rest of the way? I am not going to use a hammer. I'm not going to do that. I need to be able to press this on. So normally you're really into pulling things off, like, right here, this great puller, okay? So I had to figure out, how can I press it in? The differential is a lot of work to get out. So you need 2 people minimum to muscle this thing out, using some tackle, everything to get it to come down, and then of course disassemble a lot of things, half shafts, all that stuff coming off. All right, so I said I'm gonna see if I can think of some way to install it while it's in the car. And so that's what you see in front of you right here. Again, I purchased some material at McMaster Car. These all thread rods are extremely strong. These are M8s and these are M10s. And I know in tension they'll do really, really well. So that's what I did, purchasing those products. Now, I needed to know how I can get it onto the differential, and how am I going to clear the drive shaft. Well, it just turns out very lucky that I was able to make these brackets and positioned them so the two rods came across right where the half shafts go in. So the CV joint area there. So I was very fortunate there. And then I needed to find some type of a stable platform that I put these 4 rods on. I wanted everything just perfect so that when I'm pushing this on, that it's going to go in straight away, straight on, no craziness area here that's just going to cause a big problem. So I got this aluminum plate. I hogged the whole thing out. You know, it was a little bit wider this way and whatever. I had just machined all over the place to get it to where it is. It looks a little nasty, but I'll cut to the chase. It worked. Okay, so now I do this, but I know, hey, this is aluminum, and it's aluminum because it's difficult for me with the tools that I have to try and deal with thick plate. And so that's why I went with aluminum. It's easier for me to cut. And then I came up with this steel right here so that I'd have support when I'm using these M10 threaded. Again, very high quality. So that's what I did. I had to think though, let's say, hey, I can slip this in, I can do all that. Now, this is extremely tight around here. I machined it so it just fits in, but I had to machine it so it will come out, because if you think about it, now I've got this yoke that's right there and I've got to get this thing out. So I had to sort of calculate in my brain and sort of put it in and imagine the yoke in there, and then start machining and taking as much material as I could off of this thing so that I could, one, it's strong enough, and the other, I can get it out. So that's what we got. So essentially I turned the puller and it turned into a press. So that's how I did it. Whew. So I will let you view the video if you'd like to go any further, if you're still even here listening to this stuff. But anyway, like and subscribe, and let's roll the film. Okay, before I start the video, sorry about that, this is what I built so that I could press it the rest of the way into the bearing and the last bit of the spline that was getting pretty tough. So I've got a bronze insert into this aluminum, and then I press this steel in here, and then I have it so that the input shaft, threaded area, and the spline area, all that sort of stuff, I wouldn't have any problem as far as clearance issues. So that's that one. Let's see about rolling the video now. Okay, I've set up a threaded rod, made brackets to hold the back, because I need to pull this yoke, because this yoke was not fitting very well in the front. So I have 4 of these rods coming up here. And you can see they come through there. I have a plate back there plus another plate. And then I've got the yoke. I have done a lot of massaging on this yoke to fit in as good as it is. I found the best sweet spot I could, so we'll try and just bring it in. Okay, bring the tension out of this. Anyway, this will be quite boring, so I'll spare you that. Okay, getting a little bit more serious here now with the spline. That is a bit tough pushing in, and then going into the bearing, I have to now push from the center on this with a normal puller, but I'm actually, everything's under tension, and then I'm pushing in on this. So you can kind of see somewhat of the layout I have here so that I can strengthen everything so that I can do what I'm doing here. But anyway, we'll talk more later. All right, so it's now in, finally. A lot of work, but we got it in without hammering. Okay, one last look at all of this setup I have here to make it work, because it's coming off now. We are doneski. Okay, the last unknown, I tried to trim everything I could so that this would come out. So this is definitely untested. Let's see what I can do here. Okay. So this has got to go up a bit, and then this has to go behind. Then, oh, sweet. Oh man, a lot of shaving on this thing to make this thing. Woo. Oh man, I was sweating that one.